Truth and peace, fellow netizens. I'm Bill Milton. Today we're going to talk about politics, religion, and education. We are primarily talking about the legislative passage within the state of Louisiana, HB 71, and secondarily a judicial ruling of the United States Supreme Court. We're primarily also talking about a prominent concept shared by both Christianity and Rabbinic Judaism. We're connecting these two primary points to a third primary point of education, particularly public education. Before we get into these specifics, I do feel the need to disclose a few things. Number one, I have frequently been involved in the political process of multiple elections from a young age at the municipal level, state level, even national level, and county level, culminating in actually working and getting paid to work for the Ventura County Democratic Party during the 2020 political process. Now, I was actually working for a company that was contracted by the Ventura County Democratic Party, but that's a story for another time. Number two, I am an adherent of Christianity, particularly Protestant Christianity, and have been my entire life. My specific denominational affiliations have been Baptist, Methodist, and Pentecostal. Number three, I currently work as a public educator and have worked as a public educator for the past 3 years since I've moved to Tennessee, as well as for about a year and a half back when I lived in California. So the intersection of these various aspects of my life is what motivates me to publish my insight on the topic at hand. At the center of this conversation, like I said previously, is HB 71. This is a legislative bill that originated in Louisiana and that was formally signed and enacted by the governor of Louisiana on June 19th, 2024. I encourage my fellow netizens to read the bill in its entirety. It is only 6 pages long. I will have a link to the official text in the description. I will also summarize what it says as well intermittently with what I think about it. So, there were 3 other documents that were listed in the bill alongside the 10 Commandments that were mandated by this bill for display in public classrooms. These other 3 documents are the Mayflower Compact, Declaration of Independence, and Northwest Ordinance. I will put the links to the official text of these 3 documents as well. The bill specifies that the texts are to be on 11 by 14-inch displays. Just to help you visualize that, take 2 pieces of standard letter-size paper and hold them next to each other on the long side and rotate 90 degrees. That is 11 by 15 inches. From a logistical perspective, I'm surprised that the specifics on font sizes and font types were not included in a bill apart from being quote-unquote large, easily readable font. The lack of specificity may be an understandable concern for those who are educators in Louisiana, and this is something that I am saying as one who is himself an educator, but that can be a story for another time. Also, not only does this bill mandate these guidelines for public schools, they explicitly include post-secondary schools. Post-secondary, for those who don't know, is another term for colleges and universities, which means that the 10 Commandments have to be displayed in college and university classrooms as well. They furthermore exempt charter schools from these guidelines. I do not remember reading anything that spoke particularly of private schools and how this bill interacts with them. In addition, I did learn something that did surprise me when reading HB 71. The Supreme Court of the United States has ruled that the display of the 10 Commandments specifically on government property is not a constitutional violation. This specific ruling does not extend to the display of other Christian religious artifacts, let alone artifacts of other religions. Now, there may be other rulings that may afford this specific constitutional interpretation to other said artifacts, but I may not know about them. Rather, I don't know about them because I am not an expert in judicial law. Again, a video for another day. This is culminated, this specific ruling, in the 2005 case of Van Orden versus Perry. I'm also going to put a link to the official text of this ruling in the description as well. Finally, a particular wording of the 10 Commandments is mandated for the displays located on the bottom of page 3 of HB 71. Now, it's worth pointing out that there are actually different numbering systems and different ways of enumerating the Ten Commandments within different sects of Christianity, as well as Rabbinic Judaism. But that, again, is a video unto itself. To conclude, for our own amusement, count how many commandments are listed on the bottom of page 3 of HB 71. To my fellow netizens, peace and truth.